Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the tavern, and boy, do I have some really awesome stuff to share with y'all today, because you guessed it and you know it. Today, we will be talking about SPELLJAMMER. So, it's official, everybody. This released on the 16th of August, and I have spent the last 3 days in a black hole reading over these books and taking every little tidbit of information from my own personal spelljamming campaign that I like out of it. That being said, I'm looking forward to sharing all the cool stuff that I found with you today. So get cozy in your favorite spelljamming helm, crack out your wild space orrery, and chart a course for knowledge and fun, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the fun begins. So the first thing I'd like to talk about today in the bundle is the Spelljammer Dungeon Master screen, which starts off with a breathtaking image of a Kanjali space whale flying above two plasmoids joined by their flump pirate buddy as they watch a battle between Lunar and Solar Dragons take place right next to the breathtaking landscape of a wizard space tower as a Nyogi night spider sneaks up upon them while an Artuk watches in the background. And that's just the artwork. The actual information that you're going to get out of this is invaluable. As you can see in the left corner, we actually have a nice map of astral space itself, as well as a diagram to show how air, envelopes, and gravity planes will be working on a ship. Then we'll also have important rules down here, such as suffocating and weightlessness. These are important rules that every adventurer must remember as they journey and jam through wild space. But we also have 3 sides of this just listed for random encounters while you're going through space. Anywhere from wild space encounters to the actual astral sea encounters to random ship encounters that you can get. Each one of these encounters includes creatures that are referenced in Boo's Astral Menagerie and the Monster Manual, while also including initial attitude adjustments to determine whether or not these creatures will be friendly, indifferent, or hostile to your players. And the last one, just for a little bit of tidbit fun for ships, includes tables for ship quirks and cargo. So you can have a ship where everyone but the Spelljammer hears sea shanties unless they're asleep. That's also carrying a lifted spawn or something really zany like that. So that's the DM screen. Let's get into the actual meat and potatoes with the Astral Adventurer's Guide, the first and probably most important book in the set, which includes rules for players to make new characters and all the information that a dungeon master is going to need to explain the science of their world. This book is broken into 3 chapters. The first chapter is character options, which gives 2 new backgrounds for players to mess with that are fitting for the setting. Both that actually include a bonus feat. Depending on which one you take, you can either get the Magic Initiate Cleric feat, or you can get the Tough feat, depending on whether or not you spent most of your life in the Astral Sea, where you never age and probably have touched with a god of some sort, or you spent your entire life space trucking and you can handle the rigors of wild space. This chapter also features 6 new player races that players can use, such as Autognomes, Astral Elves, Gith, Hadozi, Plasmoids, and Thri-Kreen. These are all entries we've seen before in the Wanderer's Guide to the Multiverse UA that came out approximately 2 months ago, but it's really nice to see them put to paper and also see that both the Gith and the Hadozi have had a bit of work done to them, because I'll admit, I found them both relatively lackluster in the UA, so the playtesting did its job and made them both have a few more ribbon abilities to their race that actually makes them more desirable for players to play. The second chapter is Astral Adventuring, which this is mainly for the Dungeon Master. This covers how exactly spelljamming works, and it covers the science and physics of your spelljamming campaign, from all the important questions like, how does air work? Like, do you just suffocate when you go into space? The answer is no. Whenever you leave an atmosphere, every character takes an air bubble with them that lasts for about a minute. It also explains how gravity planes work on specific ships, and how gravity planes can exchange when ships collide. There's also other cool little ribbon questions here, such as how does fire work in wild space, talks about the domain of the dead gods in the Astral Sea, and even includes a nice little map of the Astral Sea and how realm space, where the Forgotten Realms takes place, is located, and how the rest of these wild space systems are located throughout the Astral Sea with divine domains interspersed between. Now, this is what I was talking about in my first video, where you can travel to different worlds. Each of these own independent systems can be its own setting in D&D. So you can start in Toril with realm space and go to the wild space system that is connected to Greyhawk, or Eberron, or even better, you go to Krynn, where Dragonlance takes place. But it also leads to so many other wild space locations that can take place in your campaign, because every system has to have like its own unique setting. Like there has to be a Beholder space, a Dwar space, and I dare say it sends a chill down my spine as I admit it, but there also must be Clown space. We'll get more into that in a little while. This section also includes important magic items and spells that are unique to the Spelljammer setting, such as spells that allow you to make a spelljamming helm to pilot, but also allows you to make an air bubble so you can breathe in space for longer than a minute. And this section caps off quite nicely with all the ships that are going to be featured in the spelljamming setting. Each ship has a little bit of lore about it, the statistics, and ship schematics, which show numbered rooms where everything's located, and a little side view to show how the air envelope and the gravity plane works for each of these ships. And there's over 10 of these ships in here, so there's a lot of nice stuff that you can see for how spelljamming and ship flight works. And as far as this stuff goes, I'd ship it. And then the third and final chapter of this book discusses, if I can get through the ships, ship. Aha! First try. Gets to the Rock of Brawl, which is a nice adventuring hub that is included in the Spelljammer setting, which is a floating asteroid in the middle of space. This chapter talks importantly about the big history of the Rock of Brawl, who founded it, the nobility, the important factions that are vying for power, and it even goes down and breaks down on a district level what you can do and what you can get up to in each of the 3 districts of the cities, and talks about important topographical features, all of which are actually located on the double-sided map of the Rock of Brawl. I'd fold this bad boy out, but you wouldn't be able to see all of it. Rest assured, each of the features that is depicted in the chapter is located here and gives you a wonderful little map to show your characters for their nice extra-dimensional asteroid spacefaring romp adventure. And that's all for the Astral's Guide. The second book in the set is Boo's Astral Menagerie, which is the monster manual for the setting. So the first thing that I want to show off about this book, well, of course, is the namesake themselves. The man, the myth, the miniature space hamster legend themselves, Boo. But also, on the first page, it talks very importantly about Astral Variance, which is a rule that any DM can use to make any monster in any book an astral version of said monster. At the bare minimum, you just give them the unusual nature feature so they don't require air, food, or sleep, but there's a lot more you can do with it, and they encourage that. The second page also includes a list of each of the monsters in this book. There's over 60 of them, listed by challenge rating, so if you're looking for an on-the-fly challenge for a specific level party, you can find it. And then, of course, every other entry in this book, besides the awesome Astral Encounters table that is also shown very nicely on the DM screen, every other entry are monsters with lore, statistics, and of course you gotta have pictures of your gross space plant monsters and all that type of stuff. You even have nice little outlines for each of the player races. You have an entry for Astral Elves, for Gith, for Hadozi, for Plasmoids. But there's also just some very adorable standout monsters that I also just want to talk about, like the Dwar. They're essentially just spacefaring penguin merchant people. I've already predicted that what I'm thinking is that players are going to want to make this a playable race, because we have bunny people, we have all sorts of different types of animal people out there. I can see people wanting to do penguin people. Nice, cute little flightless birds. But it also includes some very scary stuff here, like the Cosmic Horror. Oh god, that's going to be one horrific encounter that I'm really looking forward to throwing at my party. But there's just so many crazy nightmare fuel monsters in here. But there's also some very majestic, beautiful astral life in here, such as the Kinjali whales, or you get into the Chwingas, or the space guppies, or what we all come to Dungeons & Dragons for, more dragons. You got 2 in this set. You've got the Lunar Dragon, which is like the variant version of like an evil ice dragon, but you also have the Solar Dragon, which, funnily enough, isn't a good equivalent as much as it is just a true neutral force that is born inside of a star, which, I just love the lore that this dragon is literally popping out of a sun. That's amazing. But it can't all be fun and games in this book, because we also have space clowns. I kid you not. There are literal spacefaring clowns that come in and can pillage and do the little squeaky horn thing at you and pull rags out of your ear and then make balloon animals out of your corpses. It's going to be a bad time for your players. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to share my pain and my fear of clowns with my party by making them wish they never traveled to clown space. So that's all that Boo's Astral Menagerie has to offer. A whole bunch of really wicked monsters and some awesome ideas to make other monsters astral. But last and most certainly not least is the Light of Zarix's Adventure Path. This is a book that is level for characters 5 through 8. It includes 4 separate parts, each which is broken down into 3 separate chapters, and each chapter has a cliffhanger ending. They really took a lot of inspiration from stuff like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers for this, because you're supposed to leave your characters on the edge of their seat after every 3 to 4 hour playing session, and this is a primer to show the best of what Spelljammer campaigns have to offer, as your players are whisked away from their home planet as they must save their planet and the cosmos from the evil Zarixian Empire. And with that, that is all that the Spelljammer bundle has to offer. I am so excited and so stoked to share this with y'all. I have been stuck behind my library black hole wall reading these for the past 3 days, and I can't wait to put some of this content into my own home store run D&D campaigns. That's all I got for you, so drink more coffee and play more games.